All right, so the biggest news of the day, or in the last few hours, happens to be the reshuffle announced by President Akufo-Addo. And I'm sure it's going to be dominating discussions on social media. Well, Maps is here, and she's going to be taking us through all of that. Hello, Maps.
Hi, Israel. How are you?
I'm well.
I'm fine. Thank you. Social media is where it's happening. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We are Joy News on TV. Now, on Tuesday, the 7th of August 2018, we asked you to share who you'd want to see out of government or reshuffled, and that was on our Facebook page. A comment from Yusuf Napari mentioned the Sanitation Minister, Baya Jeremiah said the Zonga Minister, Special Development Ministry, and Abdul Hamid Ibrahim said, hey, as for that one, them plenty, just like 50 of your ministers. But that was when it was all speculations. Today, the 9th of August, ministers have been reshuffled, and social media has been reacting. Let's start with Facebook, where we asked you to describe President Akufo-Addo's reshuffle in one sentence. And this is what she had to say. Let's go to Frimpong Manso.
Frimpong Manso from Gini Gini decided to use more than one word.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll still read it anyway, since you're loyal. Churches must pay tax to aid national development. Okay, so this isn't it. Right, so this isn't it. We're looking for what had to do with the, it has to do with the reshuffle. And so if we've posted it, let's go to it now. Okay, so France T says, so apparently nobody lost his or her job for this incompetent performance. Even the super incompetent health minister is still at post. I we for this country. Honorable Emeritus says, when you transfer a drunkard, you only change his drinking spot. There are 10 replies. I love the replies because it always gets, okay. And Nana, okay, I missed a bit about Nana Boache. Julius says, do you mean change should be the right word? Jill says, who taught you English? Or you are now attending the propaganda. Okay, I don't know why the producer is not allowing me to read that one. All right, so Too Cute says, it's only in Ghana that we don't have an airline, yet we have a Minister for Aviation. What is he managing? Well, he's managing the airspace and the airport. Amankwa says, groundbreaking. I will only advise Otiko to assume her new office with her new style, with new hairstyle. Looks like her old hairstyle is the reason for her demotion. Oh, how? Berima Frimpong says, Nana Akufo-Addo has called the bluff of Ghanaians by increasing the wastage from 110 to 111. And there are 8 replies. Abukari Musa says, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, sorry for your demotion. I wasn't comfortable the way you reacted to the finance minister's comments on free SHS. I say to myself, when dons are talking, you only listen. Well, he says it is not a demotion.
All right, let's go to Sigali, who says, Aviation Ministry, this is duplicity, wasting of taxpayers' monies. Mr. President, can you kindly scrap that off? Mr. President, the confidence is washing away day by day. Hashtag 2020 _ beware. Now, let's go to Twitter, where the president has been trending for obvious reasons because of the reshuffle. Let's see what some people have been saying on Twitter.
All right, so we'll be going to Twitter. Definitely, I'm sure it will be trending because this reshuffle has been something that people have been anticipating for some time now. And so if it's happened, certainly you can expect that people will be talking about it, except that people were expecting that the number of ministers was going to be slashed.
Decrease. Yes,
that did not happen. Actually went up by 111. Initially, I actually thought it had gone up by 2, except that we found out that it wasn't. So Jojo Kobna has posted, says, why are you people complaining about 111 minutes? Says, iPhone updates yearly. So why don't you want Nanado to update from 110? I10
to I11.
To I11. Okay. And then Nanado making use of the transfer deadline. Okay, so the transfer deadline is 4th.
Yes.
So, okay.
He's transferring, he's reshuffling. Okay.
Fredo Ajiman says, Minister of State at the Office of the Vice President. Hey, Nanado. Laughing my. Okay. Utiko moved. That one, dear. Nanado force. All right. So that excites you. Nanado should take Ghanaians serious for once. What is Minister of State at the Office of the Vice President? I don't get it.
I don't get it.
And Minister of State at the Office of the Vice President, Chai, Nanado doing wonders. One day. Okay, I call it substitution. This one says, I call it substitution coach Nana Donye. And I just finished learning the names of our ministers as part of my preparation for an interview. I have to start all over again. Nana do why? And one more. Okay, Nana Red and one says, do we have a reduction of number of ministers yet? No.
No.
And Tony Senya says, congratulations, Kojo Ponkroma, on your appointment as Information Minister. Wish you the very best in your new role.
Now, still on the president of Ghana, he has said that the recent activities of some churches could result to taxation. There has been a back and forth on taxing the church. Some say, tax the church, they make way too much money. And others say, you cannot, and I mean cannot tax the house of the Lord. Others just quote Psalm 105:15, do not touch my anointed ones. Do my prophets no harm. Well, before I take your thoughts on this, Israel, what do you think? Should we tax the churches or not?
Well, we should tax the businesses that churches are engaged in. And I think that's fair. So if you're engaged in some business venture as a church and is returning profits, then yes, it's fair to tax that. But the church itself, I mean, what are you going to tax at the church? Are you going to tax the offertory? No, I don't think so. So if it has to do with the businesses that these churches are engaged in, I think it's a fair game.
All right. Well, to read Akufo-Addo's full speech on prosperity gospel and taxes, go to myjoyonline.com. But let's get to the streets of Accra and see what people have been saying about taxing the churches.
The churches are making big monies, you know, because Ghana, almost every house has a member who goes to church, and we pay offerings and we buy things, we buy oils, communion wines, honey, all these things for directions. Of course, they sell to us, and in Ghana here, selling, you know, buying and selling goes with tax, and I think it will be very prudent.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because well, the Bible says that we should give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So churches pay electricity bills because they need to keep something going. And the tax will also help the country going. So I believe it will be right if it's not a bad thing, because people have been paying taxes for ages now. And for once, I know Jesus wasn't against tax.
It's long overdue because most of the churches are now into business. And once you're a business entity, you have to pay the required taxes. We need the taxes to develop. Yeah, so
You agree?
I agree.
All right.
All right, so on Facebook, Bariama Frimpong also says churches must pay tax to aid national development. What do they use the many tithes and offerings to receive for?
Well, to build bigger churches.
You go to some churches and people can't even afford decent lives, but are made to compulsorily pay annual harvest contributions, despite Capital Bank's single obligor listing that led to its collapse. Dr. Otto had the nerve to say no one has the right to ask about how the church spends its money. Stanford pay tax, cra da da da. Edu Bright says they should pay taxes, but if the proceeds are not used for the intended purpose, I believe God will punish the politicians because the money is coming from God. Abraham Smith says one-man churches who are making a gargantuan amount of money from the church services should pay tax. I mean, you know them. I don't want to mention their names. Ideas Dos Santos says the problem is not who pays or does not pay tax, but the problem is the corrupt nature of GRA and other institutions. Jerry Atipo says absolutely they must be taxed because they only exploit the vulnerable members to the extent that some of the pastors are demanding dollars during offertory. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
All right, let's go to James, who says, from the GRA boss, churches will not be taxed on their offerings and tithes, but they will be taxed when they engage in other business activities like awarding contracts, selling activities, and any other forms of business activities. I agree with him that some churches should be taxed. All right, let me take the last comment from Bayo Jeremiah, who says, I totally disagree with that school of thought. People's way of worship and their faith should be left onto them and their creator. We should rather encourage the Christian Council to come out with modalities to regulate the activities of classroom churches. because it seems their way of worship is geared towards wealth instead of salvation. Now, no matter what your first job is, the first day at work is a nerve-wracking experience. But if you're properly prepared, you can turn that day into a positive experience that kicks off a long and successful career. For Throwback Thursday today, we ask you how your first day at work was. Let's take a look at the interesting answers you guys gave us.
I have been in the house for so long. People have been complaining, go to work, and other things. And the first day I'm in a workplace and they have signed me at the web. I mean, I feel good. I feel amazing on that day.
Entering a new environment, basically, there will be some apprehension because you are coming to meet people for the first time. You've never met them. And fortunately, I think 6 of us went for the interview. I was the only person who was picked because it was only one position. So you have no body that maybe you even met during the course of the interview. So I think it was an exciting and a mixed feeling, but within 1 week I was settled. I made my friends, I made my enemies, and we were good to go.
It was normal. You know, normally going to maybe moving from Accra to different location without knowing anybody there, it's normal. You see, we the guys, we like socialization. So immediately I got there, I have those newcomers over there. We just started chatting and talking.
My first day, yes, I was very calm, you know, and I tried to ask 1 or 2 questions from my boss, so that at least I'll get a fair idea how she is herself, like her personal relationship with me. I was very calm. I sat on my place, and that was all. I wanted to be very, like, comport myself for the first day.
Right, so Maps, what was your first day at work like? I don't recall mine because it was so long ago.
Yeah, my first day at work was okay. I was nervous.
Okay.
Like as expected, I was nervous. But let me say, my first day at multimedia, boy, oh boy, was it tough. It was tough.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like...
What made it so tough?
I think it was just overwhelming. So many people, like, you know, we want to help you, but like, I don't want to be helped. Like, it was just, yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
Okay, let's get onto Facebook.
Yeah.
So Pato King says, still looking for a job on electrical technician by profession. Okay, so you haven't had your first day at work. And this one says, okay, now, this is not what we're talking about. So let's move on.
Let's go to Baya Jeremiah's comment, who says, my first day at work, everything was yes, boss. Yes, sir, boss.
Yes, sir, boss.
Everyone at the office gave me a fantastic smile.
Okay. Mustafa Yakubu says, I'm still searching for a job. I have no idea on how it feels at your first day at work. Any available job at multimedia? Well, you can give it a shot. You can give it a shot. James Abusanga says, my first day at work was like my first day at school. It was as if everyone was looking at me, which made me refuse my lunch, even though I was very hungry. I even sat in the wrong chair, which was meant for our head of department, who was on maternity leave. Oh, that's in the pregnant woman's seat. Philip Ahuma says, my first day at work as a teacher was like facing a lion for the first time in your life, sweating like a pregnant fish. Oops.
Okay, let's take the last comment from Desmond A, who says, someone should tag Nana Kufado and Martin Emedu. They have more to share to that effect.
Honorable Emeritus says, do we even have one whilst we are still working with our guidance or our guardians or parents? Ideas to Santos. My first day at work was tough. Abraham Smith says, it's quite boring, sir. And Simu says, I haven't gotten a job yet. Well, we pray you get one.